What's poppin', mi gente? Your boy's back with another video. Now this is going to be my third attempt at recording this, as my headset tonight was acting up and it was causing there to be a massive amount of loud static on the video, so if there are any moments like that, I apologize in advance to you guys. This video is just going to be a short one showcasing what I've been working on for the last 2 weeks or so, which is shields. Now let's dive right into it. First up, there are light shields. Light shields function like the shields you're all probably used to in classic Symphony of the Night. That is to say, you have your full range of motion, your complete moveset, while you have them up, with the exception of things like if you're attacking, obviously they're lowered, using a sub-weapon they're lowered, or a special move, but if you're walking around, you're jumping, even backstepping, you can have a shield up. So these shields actually drop your defense slightly because they're more geared towards being offensive, in that you can approach enemies, and they even have a critical art that lets you charge forward, which I'm not going to show the criticals in this video because they're still being worked on. So that'll be coming soon though. I apologize in advance. The next type of shield we have is great shields. Now, great shields, you can't move around while using them. If you use them in the air, you drop straight down. However, they have a much larger hitbox. They raise your defense while you have shields, while you have a shield equipped, and on top of that, they negate more damage from regular blocking. Now, I'll also tell you guys up front that if you perfect guard, of course, you block 100% of the damage, and I'll put a part right around here where I'll show you the different size hitboxes for light shield versus great shield, because yeah, it's quite significant. But yeah, great shields are more designed for people who want to tank through things, versus light shields are more designed for people who want to be more mobile. Light shields also suffer for something called block stun from some attacks, not all. If you watch the video, you'll notice that when regular bone pillar fireballs hit the leather shield, which is a light shield, you can keep moving right through them no problem, but the golden bone pillars fireballs put you into block stun, as well as both types of bone pillars flame breath put you into block stun. That should be coming up right about right now in the video. Now, with great shields, they don't have that issue. It's that simple. They don't suffer from any kind of block stun. And the a la carte shield is kind of a hybrid of both. It has the properties of a light shield in that you can walk around with it, you can jump around with it, you can crouch with it on, which you can crouch with a great shield up too, but you just can't move around with it on. I figured it was more fun like that. If you can go between standing, crouching, it just gives you a lot more combat options, but I digress. The a la carte shield can move around like light shields, but it has the defense of great shields, it has the hitbox of great shields. It raises your defense more, and it's overall a pretty broken shield, but don't worry. I have some things in mind that'll help to balance it out. That's all I'm going to say for now. And again, shields do have critical arts, which right now there are 2 of them. Light shields have one where you put the shield up and charge forward. It negates projectiles, gives you some iframes, and it's designed to give you a way to close the gap with enemies. Doesn't cost a lot of MP to use either. And great shields have a shield bash that also has iframes but doesn't move much, and is designed to send enemies into stagger. So think of larger enemies like Blade, Hammer, Gurkha. You know, it sends them to a stagger animation so you can do damage to them, and while still blocking projectiles and giving you iframes. More of so you can just kind of tank through things. If it's a smaller enemy, it'll straight up knock them away, similar to Richter's dropkick. Also, shields grant extra abilities on top of the critical art and the basic block. For example, the leather shield will actually boost your attack power for a short time on block. Perfect guarding increases the time frame you have. And the night shield will actually stun or stagger enemies, inflict stagger on enemies is the best way to put it, because it depends how much stagger defense an enemy has, who hit the shield with a physical attack. And right now, enemies that hit the night shield with a projectile attack, well, it actually inflicts a couple of stacks of slow on them, but it's for a very, very brief window. Basically, again, giving you time to close the gap and deal with whatever was firing upon you. So that's a long story made very short there, guys. The a la carte shield uses the shield bash, and it has no special ability because, well, shield bash for critical art to be more specific, but it has no special ability because it's so broken as is. It doesn't need anything else, trust me. To give another example of this, the flame shield, when you block a projectile, or let's say the physical attacks it can block, like flame pillars, or the bone pillars flame breath, or bone scimitar sword, it launches a fireball at the enemy that inflicts stacks of burn, and you know, once you've blocked enough things or perfect guard enough things, it charges up a separate attack that you can utilize by hitting up in the critical art button. that'll blast every enemy within range with a burst of fire that inflicts some damage and inflicts a stack and burn as well. So again, shields are useful for a lot more things than just holding them up and walking around with them, which I thought was very boring in the original game. But what do you all think of this? You guys like what you're hearing so far? Again, I wish I could show off more, but a good number of these things are still work in progress. But don't worry, more previews coming soon. I'm going to be putting up a video next discussing how I implemented these within the game, and it will mostly act as a guide for myself. But again, well, I should say the idea behind it is to act as a guide for myself, but I like sharing it with everybody else because I never know who else is out there might be struggling with implementing the exact same thing within their game. So I figure if it can provide free advice to anybody out there, why not go for it? It also helps to have a reference guide online in case, let's say 6 months down the line, I decide to implement some more shields. I have something to come back to look at. Okay, here's step by step how I do that. Alright, so that's it. That's all I have to talk about this video. As always, if you want to leave a comment down below, go ahead, but I reiterate what I've said 1,000 times. If you want to leave comments and have discussions with me, if you want to get responses, join my Patreon. I just don't have the time to respond to YouTube comments, and honestly, the YouTube comment section is sadly generally like a roaring dumpster fire, so I don't pay much mind to it. But become a Patreon supporter and you can discuss whatever you want with me. If you want to make a one-time donation, there'll be a link to the PayPal in the video's description. If you don't want to do any of that, that's fine. Nobody's obligated to do anything for me. You can of course join the Facebook group if you want to talk with other like-minded Castlevania fans, and I also have a forum that you can join that is very quiet now because again, it's designed to be used for bug reporting purposes primarily. So, but everybody's welcome to join, as I said. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to like the video, go for it. I'd appreciate it. Again, keep your eye on this channel for the upcoming video. It should be out in the next week or so. I want to again take a moment to thank each and every one of my Patreon supporters, especially Hosani69 for that generous donation he made a month ago. Again, appreciate it, bro. For the rest of you, please, let's get the donations up. I hope everybody's doing well, and I'll talk to you all soon. Deuces.